victory. I just got another victory. Opposition say they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept on. You see my place. It's never.
One more for the bucket, baby. The New York Knicks with another victory. Who's next? The New York Knicks with another victory over the Washington Wizards last night. It's like these Knicks Deli editions are going to be more frequent. All the doubters, all the haters, sit down, have a seat, sit down for the moment while we do this thing, while we quarterback this thing. Speaking of quarterback, I know it's a football Saturday, so I don't want to be on here forever. So what I want to do is welcome you all. I want to welcome you to my channel. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome to the Sheer Brilliance Knicks channel. I am your host. My name is Sheer. And you already know we are first to many and second to no one when it comes to the news, team moves, and interesting views about our New York Knicks. If you're here for the first time, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for supporting this channel, checking out my content. Hopefully you enjoy yourself today. But do this. Hit that subscribe button. And if you do enjoy this video today, hit that thumbs up. Run up the thumbs up for me. I enjoy you. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. If you're back, my SB community, let's go. Let's show them how it should be done. And we about to do that today. You already know we roll deep here in the SB community. Let's go. And we're here to talk our talk today. Now, you know you can't have those people who support you, those people who encourage you to keep going, if you don't have the people who don't. So I know that there's some people here. I know that there's some people in the comment section, the ops, and I see you. And guess what? You know you rocking with the best, baby. But I want to welcome you to my channel anyway. Friend or foe, we want the smoke. And the smoke is exactly what the New York Knicks brought to the Washington Wizards last night. And we're here to talk about it. If you're here for the first time, listen, I want to welcome you to my channel. But you got to know, the only way we celebrate New York Knicks victories here at the Sheer Brilliance Knicks channel is by taking a visit over to Knicks Deli. Okay? Knicks Deli edition. This is the Knicks Deli edition of Sheer Brilliance Knicks as we look at our most recent of victories over the Washington Wizards. Okay, so if you're new to the Knicks Deli, really quickly, let me go over what it's all about. All right, there's only 4 items on the Knicks Deli. Okay, when you visit New York, if you're from New York, you know exactly the importance of the deli or the bodega, right? If you've never been to New York, you cannot leave the state without having visited a deli or a bodega. Okay, so when you come to Knicks Deli, there's only 4 items on the menu. There's the bacon, egg, and cheese, which are the 3 people. Who are the 3 components to the game that helped us secure this victory? All right, so we're going to look at who's the bacon, egg, and cheese of the game. And we're going to look at the dollar slice. Now, the dollar slice is a fixture of New York, the best pizza in the world. So we're going to look at who is the fixture of this game, who is the stabilizing factor that helped us get this win. And then we're going to look at the chopped cheese. Now, the chopped cheese is relatively new to the New York menu, but that thing be busting. So we're going to look at what was the player who contributed to this game. And their contribution was unique or in a relatively new way, but that thing was busting and helped us get this victory. And lastly, you can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese if you don't have nothing to wash it down with. And in New York, that go-to is the quarter water. So we're going to look at who is the quarter water of the game. Who was the person, who was the moment, what was the moment in a particular quarter or a little bit throughout the quarters that contributed to helping us get this victory. All right. And after we're done with the menu, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about who was the nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game. And that could either be during the game, it could be a player, it could be a commentator, it could be before or after the game, some type of narrative surrounding our team that'll make you look at the screen sideways and be like, nah, son, nah, you wildin'. All right. And then we're going to continue with our newest of segments. I read it at Knicks Deli. Okay. And that's where we're going to go hot off the grill. And we're going to see what other people in Knicks Nation are talking. We're going to take a few moments to visit Reddit and look at some of the subject lines and see if we can build on that as well. And then we'll tie it all up, and I'm going to get you out of here and ready for football. So if that sounds good to you, that sounds good to me. Let's get into it. Who are the bacon, egg, and the cheese of this game? The New York Knicks, man, are continuing to make believers out of us all. Continuing. And because we are fans from this fan base, we see the growth that's needed. We see the flaws. And New York Knicks fans of all Knicks fans aren't afraid to tell you where those flaws are. But the New York Knicks tacked on another one on the road. And we're going to dive into that. Before I do that, though, something I absolutely think is important for my channel, important for this segment, is before I dive into anything, I like to talk about who are the Knicks fans that visit my channel. Who are my top 5? She's top 5. And this is a shout out to my SB community who continue to ride with me. So this week, she's top 5 will be number 1, Agent Super Argo. Number 2, Birdie. Shout out to you. Number 3, Dopest Ream. Shout out to you. Number 4 is S Brooklyn. And number 5 is Harlem Girl. Shout out to you. You've made She's top 5 dead or alive. Let's go. I appreciate you. I thank you for rocking with me. And I thank you for contributing to what we're going to make one of the top Knicks content channels on YouTube. Let's go. If you got that New York vibe, there's only one way to get it, and that's to take it. We're here to take it. Okay? Now, if you're hungry, let's eat. Let's eat. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay? Talked about what Knicks Deli is. Let me put this at the bottom. Let me throw those stats. But my bacon of the game is none other than Jalen Brunson. Bro, what more can we say about Jalen Brunson? What more has to be said about Jalen Brunson? What has been unsaid is that he is now the unquestioned leader of the New York Knicks. We got us one. We got us an unquestioned leader. We got us a star. He is a star in this league. His stats are proving it. They're going to be lying to you if they pick somebody else as the most improved player of the NBA. They're going to be lying to you if the name isn't Jalen Brunson. They're going to be lying to you. Let's keep it real. We're going to keep it all the way real today. Let's keep it real. They're going to be lying to you. So be prepared for the lies. Jalen Brunson once again showed up and showed out last night. 34 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Just a short while ago, Elfrid Payton was our point guard. And we were making a little bit of noise. New York Knicks got a point guard who continuously shows up and continuously puts pressure on the other team. I saw a quote recently from last night. It was Kyle Kuzma. And he was just like, listen, we couldn't do nothing with him. I'm gonna go over that quote from Kyle. I'm gonna go over that quote. But Jalen Brunson just continues to put in that work. He continues to lead not only by example, but lead the way by communication, by confidence. New York Knicks, we got to do our job. Let's put this man in an all-star game. Let's not keep it to the coach's decision. Let's vote multiple times. Put this man and put Julius in the game. But Jalen Brunson, man, you were the bacon of the game once again. Sometimes I try to look for somebody different. There ain't nobody different. This man, 34 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, silencing all of the doubters. I can't help but remember back to the reports once it was rumored that the New York Knicks was clearing space to get this man a max $100 million max deal. And what they were saying. He's a role player at best. He is a solid starter at best. Even though his tape was saying something else. I remember hearing him being interviewed and him saying, if given the opportunity, I think I put a ceiling on myself playing next to Luka. I know I could take it to another level. Tom Thibodeau said after the other night, he said, I think he got even more than what you've seen. Say what you will about Tom Thibodeau. When Tom Thibodeau gets a star point guard, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. So Jalen Brunson has been that for us. Anybody who says they're an expert, and I'm not talking about Knicks Nation, I'm not talking about what we see because we watch this team on a nightly basis. But keep this in mind. Any moves that the Knicks are trying to make, any rumors about trades or whatever have you, and then we go to the ESPNs, the ABCs, the FS1s, wherever Knicks fans go to consume content from the experts, and we're looking for their approval, understand that they don't know what the hell they're talking about either. We here on Knicks Nation, here on YouTube, we know just about as much as they do. We used to be impressed by the insider talk, thinking, you know what, they got the inside scoop, and some of them do. But 9 times out of 10, we know just as much as they do because they didn't see this coming. The only person that saw this coming was Jalen Brunson. And you got to give credit to the New York Knicks front office because they've known a little bit more than everybody else did. They were able to foresee this. All right? They were able to foresee Julius, which leads me into my egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese. Look at that transition. Julius Randle, first and foremost, is human, but right now he's playing like he's superhuman. Now, the human part that I'm talking about, the human part is that he's going to have flaws, as we all do. We would love to have Julius play perfect games. We demand it of him. So he could have 7 plays that are good, and we expect it because he's talented. He is talented. But that moment, that one moment where he tries that spin, or that moment where he thinks a little bit more of his handle than his handle thinks of its ability, and we ready to be like, see, this is what I hate about Julius. I'm gonna shout out to my own core group of Knicks fans in my family. Like, I flipping hate Julius. And I was part of that cult. Hell, I probably led that cult. All right. But you got to give an opportunity for people to grow and evolve. And you got to recognize when they're getting better. And I'm learning that. And Julius is growing. Julius is evolving. And Julius is getting better. Last night, he did it to the tune of 23 points, 16 rebounds. The man right now is a walking double-double. You remember when Carmelo Anthony was in his prime? And we used to say Carmelo could step 1 foot out of the bed onto the floor, and he's getting you 30. Well, the same thing is applying with Julius right now. Julius can step 1 foot onto the floor, and he automatically has a double-double. That's where he is. That is where he is. You can only imagine the game plan for the opposite team. Now it's consistently how we're going to double and take the ball out of this man's hand. Can we flash a triple at him? How are we going to slow him down? Okay? Julius is entering that stage, that space where he's giving the opposing defensive coaches nightmares. All right. And it's as a result of what's being formed as one of the top dynamic dudes. And it's only appropriate that they're in Gotham City. One of the top dynamic duos in the league. Check the stats. Check the stats. This is how you force them to talk about you when they don't want to talk about you. Wait until All-Star break. When whoever selected as All-Stars, you got to deep dive into what their accomplishments have been so far this season. Wait until the All-Star break. We're going to be forced to have to look at New York. They're going to have to be forced to look at New York. That's right. We can't wait for them to give it to us. We got to take it. And Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are taking it. They're taking the narrative. They're forcing the eyes on Gotham City. And we here for it. We here for it. Couple of things that stood out about Julius, man. Over the last few games, also in this game, other teams are noticing the extra effort that he's putting forth. there's an extra effort that all of the team is contagious on the team. Whether it's making the right play, where you have that open layup from Grimes a few nights ago, but he was mindful enough to know that you got to take time off the clock. So instead of being selfish and getting the quick 2 points, he pulled the ball back out. Take time off the clock. Or was it last night with Emmanuel Quickly, where he clearly could have pulled up for that floater, but he backed the ball out a little bit more just to get a scan of the floor. And then he hit the guy with the pass, and the guy hit Hartenstein for the pass for the dunk. Ball movement, little things that contribute to winning. It's happening now. New York Knicks fans, we can't be the last to recognize it if we're the first to see it. Everybody always wants to have a hot take. Recognize that this team is when they pop up on the schedule of opposing fans, they're like, damn, I don't know if we're going to get this win. It used to be us that would try to count down the next 10 games and be like, damn, we're going to be 1-9. Not anymore. The New York Knicks are road warriors this season. Road warriors. We got the third best record on the road in the NBA. Julius Randle was playing with a level of confidence provided by a point guard who has completely relinquished the pressure that was on his shoulders, that was on RJ's shoulders. RJ doesn't have to worry about whether or not he's going to get the ball. No player who is hot on the team has to worry about who's going to get the ball to them or whether or not they're going to go away from them now, because you have a point guard who will ensure that you get the ball if you have the hot hand. And Julius Randle has directly benefited from it. He was disrespectful last night. Gafford learned firsthand he was disrespectful last night. How you going to dunk like that on that man? That man had family in the crowd. He got kids. Julius Randle ain't care about none of that. Disrespecting that man in front of his fans. We taught you better than that. I'm proud as hell of you. I'm proud as hell of you. That man was holding his mouth on the floor for about 4 or 5 seconds. That was disrespectful. And I loved every moment of it. God damn it, we need to start putting out the same disrespect on the league that they've been putting out on us for 25 years. Let's talk about this. I love the disrespectful Julius. I love Kodak Julius. Ever since he had the Kodak black hairstyle, he's been disrespectful. Disrespectful. Ever since he got Trippie Redd at the point guard position, he's been disrespectful. I love disrespectful Julius. So Julius Randle, you get the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese today, my brother. Keep balling. Keep balling. And who is the cheese of the game? Before I go to the chat and see how y'all doing and give y'all a shout out, who's the cheese of the game? Willie Emmanuel Quickly. Who else? Enjoy him now. Let's enjoy Emmanuel now, because he's going to be demanding money pretty soon. And he's going to have a right to. The level of variety that this man has added to his game is crazy. Emmanuel Quickly came into this league almost in the mode of a Steph Curry. You could see the influence of a Steph Curry. You could see the influence of a Trae Young on Emmanuel Quickly's game. He was a deep shot bomber. And we were impressed by it, pulling up for anywhere on the floor. Deep, splash, fearless. And everybody from Damian Lillard to LeBron James to Lou Will, Lemon Pepper Lou, was talking about that man's floater as being elite in his rookie season. In his rookie season. I don't know who that Emmanuel Quickly is. The Emmanuel Quickly that I know, that I see right now, the Emmanuel Quickly that had 18 points last night, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I don't care if you put me on the bench. I don't care if you put me in the starting lineup. I'm going to do what I need to do to help this team win. That Emmanuel quickly reminds me of John Starks when I was watching as a teenager. When we secured Allen Houston from the Detroit Pistons and an ever prideful John Starks, who they found on the grocery line in the supermarket, tried out for the Knicks, gained the spot, became one of the starters, part of infamous battles with the Chicago Bulls, was asked to come off of the bench. A moment where you got to set your pride aside. But he said, you know what? If I'm going to come off of the bench, I'm going for sixth man of the year. Sixth man of the year, all-star spot later. John Starks was dominating other teams' second unit. Emmanuel quickly doesn't care where he's at. He cares about being on a winning team. That's the type of team that we have. And everybody who's going to continue to post, everybody's going to continue to create content surrounding we not having the right coach. I told you a summer ago. I told you a full year ago when I started the channel. Tom Thibodeau may not be the coach that gets us to the championship, but he's the right coach for this group right now. Planted that seed in Quick's mind. You're a point guard. This is what you need to work on. And for him to be at this space, at this moment, with the level of variety in his shot, don't matter what angle, doesn't matter what side of the hoop you on. Doesn't matter if it's a three-point shot, if it's a mid-range shot, if it's that floater. It doesn't matter if I'm driving to the basket. He's worked on his body where he could finish through contact. He's done everything that the team has asked him to do. One thing you could rarely say, you probably could count on one hand 5 times or less the number of times it was apparent that this team quit on Tibbs, no matter what the fans were giving them, no matter what the record was. It's a lot to be said for a leader of a team who almost never has their team quit on them. That's when you fire somebody, when it seems like the people that they're leading is not following them. That's when you get rid of somebody. Knicks fans, PTSD. You don't know how to enjoy prosperity. That's ultimately what it is. These cats are growing under the microwave mentality, the air fryer desire to have things quick was pushed back on all of us this past summer when Donovan Mitchell was right there. We just had to press confirm on that DoorDash, and Donovan Mitchell would have been on our doorstep a half hour later. And the New York Knicks canceled the order and said we good with what we had. Imagine if Emmanuel quickly and all of these players would be doing what they're doing in Utah. And Donovan Mitchell would have tweaked his knee or I don't wish that on nobody, but imagine that. What y'all be talking about the front office? Not even Knicks Nation. What do you think the narrative would have been? Well, it's not. And what we're seeing is Emmanuel quickly develop into a player that's really going to demand a lot of money somewhere in this league, if it's not from us. And he did it in a Knicks uniform. Randall has been to the top of the mountain in terms of the adulation of the fans. He's been to the lowest of the lows. Constant trade requests. You need to be out of here directly. And he stayed. And last night was a great night. Great night to get that victory. Because the person that should have been the center of all that, Kristaps Porzingis, he's been paying attention. His trade request was the result. Or it was the initiating driver to Julius Randle being here. He could look as far as Julius's experience in New York and know how his experience would have been. That's why he's winking at us. Before the game, he had a couple of comments. We're going to get into that a little bit later too. But Kristaps Porzingis doesn't have to look any further than Julius Randle's story to see what his career would be and what his career would be like right about now. And I love it. I love it. So Emmanuel quickly, man, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I talked about the variety of his game, his ability to continuously attack. When he came into the game yesterday and he was on the floor with Jalen Brunson, the one thing that popped off the screen to me was the speed. Yo, how much speed was on the floor? They were pushing the ball down the defense's throat. They had the defense on their heels, but they were controlled. And it used to be, even with Quick, when Quick used to run down the floor, sometimes it used to be like either he's going to have an offensive foul or he's going to turn the ball over. The level of confidence that I have in Quick's handle right now is stupid because it wasn't like that when he came into the league. I was just like, yo, dribble up, pass it to somebody. He's best off of the curl shooting the shot. I wish I had $1 for every 3-pointer he passes up. You could see the thought process. And sometimes I'm yelling at the screen like, yo, take that quick. But nah, he's in point guard mode. He got his, I don't know if there's a point guard badge on 2K. He got that. And shout out to 2K because Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle's rating went up. I don't play. I'm disrespectful. I got my PS5 packed up in the closet. I haven't played in months, but I heard them ratings went up. So shout out to Emmanuel quickly. My bacon, my egg, and my cheese of the game today is Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Emmanuel mother flipping quickly. Let's go. Round of applause for those cats who make up the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli today. We eating. Everybody eats. Everybody eats at Knicks Deli. But before I move any further, let me go to the chats. Let me see what we're doing. My guy, Wellflower, good to start out with you, brother. Good to start out with you. Great to see you. Wellflower says playing the role as a solid starter, like that's a bad thing. Also, he says you got at least 2 guys who can score 30 without him. Add Jalen and you see what's up. Facts. Wellflower also goes on to say, you already know, trade no one. Let's ride this thing out. Let's see how far we could take this thing. 100%. Let's welcome back. SB Nation is out deep today. David Piccolo, let's go. Said, let's go bacon, egg, and cheese the sheer brilliant way. Let's go all day, every day. What you want on it? What you want on it? Let's go. David Piccolo also says, can't forget the Bev. That's right, Mitchell Robinson. We're going to get to that. You already know. We're going to get to that. Shout out to you, Dave. Dan Jones is back. Yo, SB is deep, baby. SB community is deep today. That is true. Julius is a consistent double-double. Bro, it's easy work for him right now. It's easy work. And I love his confidence. I love his confidence. He's moving like when he walks into a game and he walks into an arena, he knows you got to deal with him. Jay Bugs, what's going on? Salute. Well, bro, it's been a minute, man. Great to see you. Welcome. Salute, 3 capitals. 3 capital S's, blessings, health, happiness, and happy 23. Happy New Year to you as well, my brother. To the chat and to the panel, 5 games above 500. Hard work paying off, and that's number 11. It's a perfect match for the city. 100%. Bro, it's a beautiful thing having a point guard in New York. It should be blasphemous for any New York basketball team to be without a point guard. This is the Mecca. But we don't got to worry about that no more because we got ours. We got ours. They laughed at us when we gave that man a bag. They laughed. We're gonna see how long that laughter lasts. Shout out to you, Jay Bugs, my guy. Wellflower says we have 3 guys on the team who are a threat to score 30, including one who's out of the rotation, but no worries about him because we will need him for injuries and in the playoffs. That's a great point. That's a great point. Let's keep in mind this is a marathon. And we know these players want to play. We know what these players are capable of putting forth. We also know their areas of improvement as well. But, you can't have complete health for all 82 games and all whatever amount of games it'll take you to navigate the playoffs. Everybody is going to be needed to be called on at some point. They need to be ready. But those very players who we see sitting on the bench and we wish they would get in the game, they're working their asses off in practice because we see it with the starters and the bench on the floor. You don't get better unless you're getting challenged in practice at a high level. Let's keep that in mind. That was one, if there was no lesson that was learned from Pat Riley by myself as a young team, is that there's importance in practice players because they're the ones that's challenging you and preparing you for any of the ops that you play in a regular season. So let's keep that in mind. Those players are still contributing even if we don't see them start on the floor. So it's a great point, Wellflower. Shout out to you once again. David says Julius is doing it, but I would still trade him. At this moment, while he's ours, we riding for him. I hear you, but we riding for him right now. Dan Jones laughs. Wellflower says disrespectful. Yo, I love it. Yo, if you watch that replay of Julius getting that dunk in Washington, there was a fan that stood up, and I bet he was a Washington fan, but he had to stand up and he gave the stinkest of faces. He gave the stink face. He was smelling what Julius was cooking, and it was disgusting. It was like Julius was cooking some chitlins or something under that basket because that fan looked at him like, why'd you have to do that? And to make matters worse, your boy laid there on the floor holding his face. You're a shot blocker in this league. You're going to hold that right there for the dramatic effect? Well, we appreciate you because it worked. Dan Jones says that dunk was vicious. For real, that dunk was vicious. Every little moment we have like that, whether it's that dunk, they're forced to show it on ESPN. I don't care if you just flash it for a second or if you try to bury it as number 6 in your top 10. We don't care. You got to see us. That moment when Jalen Brunson hit Elmer Fudd with the crossover in Chicago, you got to see us. We don't care where you put us in that top 10. You got to put us somewhere. You got to see us. So Whaleflower says 50 years. This year was 50 years. Are you 50? Well, if this is your birthday, happy birthday, Whaleflower. If not, clarify what you mean by the 50 years. Let's see. Dan Jones says this is hilarious. I just woke up in a mood today, man. I think it's my Niners. Shout out to my Niners. And I know, but my Niners about to roll through this damn league and finally get us a championship. I'm gonna talk my talk. Y'all can hate me if you want. We don't gotta agree on everything, but my Niners are rolling, and I hope this weather don't trip us up. So Wellflower says, "Keep playing, y'all." Keep playing, y'all. Let's roll through these guys. I got a lot more to get to. Mitch is doing it absolutely correct, Dave. We gonna give Mitch some love on this as well. Mitch makes a difference. Mitch is the difference. Don't get it twisted. We would love to see this game be played with the level of dominance that was displayed by the Golden State Warriors. We would love to see this game be displayed and played with the level of dominance we saw from the 90s Bulls. We just want to be a dominant team. And I know that is the source of us saying, what about a Miles Turner? What about a Wiseman? We need some scoring we need some scoring from the 5. That's because we want to be dominant. But Mitchell Robinson will be, if healthy, the reason we win. Let's take steps. Let's grow. Let's max out this form of who we are before we make any tweaks. We saw the smallest of tweaks we tried to make, getting rid of Elfrid Payton and UNC Bullock. And then we brought in Fournier and we brought in Kimber. And we saw how that smallest of tweaks, 2 players, deep 6th season last season. All right. So let's not be quick to be like, oh, okay, I want to add this ingredient. Your cake gonna fall flat. Let's chill for a moment. Let's ride this thing out. Let's give them a season and see how they can grow together, what they can do together. Now, I know I can say that with 100% confidence after the trade deadline's over. There's some players who don't know if they're going to still be here. And even with that, if they're still playing at this high of a level, this hard of an effort for this coach, there's a lot to be said about that. Because there's players who may not be here. And who's to say that's not why Cam is sitting? Because you know Cam wants to get his bag. Somebody's going to give Cam a bag. Let's not mistake this. But who would say that Cam would be fully bought in on this team effort if he knows trade deadline is coming up and he's in the final year of his contract? He knows his contract is movable. So we got to be mindful of that. I'm going to get off of Cam. Let me go through the rest of these before I hop back into it. I'm feeling quickly. He just keeps getting better and better. David Piccolo also says quickly gets better and better, tougher than leather, heavy as a Chevy, and light as a feather. Yo, bars. Yo, drop them bars. Drop the bars, brother. David Piccolo says, quickly is nice. I'll say it twice. And on the basketball court, he skates on ice. Yo, bro, you're in the zone right now. You're in the zone. Mike Gowdy, welcome back. Shout out to you, guy. Shout out to you, my brother. Teach me, bro. Teach me, bro. I feel you, bro. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining me. I know it's coming up against the hour on football. We're going to get you out of here. Steve Mendez says, salute, Knicks Nation. Salute to you. Let's get it. Mike Gowdy once again says, yow, hit the like button. Once again, 10 people in here. Let me get 10 likes, man. Run that thumbs up. Run up the thumbs up. Like button and spread the wealth. Steve Mendez says, my almighty Knicks don't like no teams. Let's get it. 100%. Jay Boogie once again adds, he too small. That's too much money. That's crazy. People want to court his pockets and count his pockets instead of counting his game. Yo, they're going to learn today. They're going to learn today. We ain't worried about, they're going to learn today. Ashley Inc. 1 returns, says Randall posterizing people out here in these streets. RJ Alley-ooping from Obi, 1973 was when the Knicks last won a chip. 50 years ago, 100%. Is it time? Is it time? I know I'm getting ahead of myself talking about chip talk, but is it time? All right. Ray Gomez says, you're doing a good job. I appreciate you, my brother. Just trying to 100% give another unique perspective, man. All of the content creators, man, they got us through the pandemic, man. They got me through the pandemic. So I was inspired by them, just trying to be me in these streets. Ray Gomez also says, Mitchell is good, but not a three-point shooter. Liability on offense. Once again, we understand that. But if every other position does their job, he doesn't need to be an asset on offense. That's it. That's not what we brought him in here for. That's not what we drafted. What we saw in that raw piece of clay that we drafted him for at the 54 pick, barely getting any burn on a community college level before he withdrew because his uncle withdrew from the university. The college he was at, defense. We saw the bounce. We saw the defensive ability. We saw the ability to run the floor. If everybody else does their job, that's not his role. That's not what we need him for. But I hear you. I hear you. And last comment before I hop into who is the dollar slice is from Agent Super Argo. Salute to you. I gave you the shout out at the beginning of the show. All right. Hold on. I got a few more here. Then I'm going to have to come back to those. Let me see. David Piccolo says, let's go Big Blue. Shout out to the New York Giants. Shout out to Big Blue. I know y'all want, Coach Dabo to be the coach of the year, but I'm sorry, my guy, that's going to Kyle Shanahan. I'm sorry, my guy. Let's go into our coach. All right? Okay? 2 quarterbacks down. One more. And we making this thing happen. Shout out to Purdy. Shout out to Purdy. Okay? I know y'all looking at me like, who are you? Are you from New York? Yes, I am. Okay? Agent Super Argo says, Julius made it onto the NBA's top 10 plays of Friday night with that homicide dunk. Once again, putting bodies in the bag. Bodies in the bag. All right? So shout out to Julius. And my last one comment before I finish the rest of Knicks Daily, hit that thumbs up button, please. We got 11 people in the chat. Should be 11 thumbs up. Shout out to you. If you're watching this after the live, I want to welcome you. Hit that thumbs up button if you like the content. So let me dive back in because I got a lot to get to. Bacon of the game I already talked about. Let's move down. The dollar slice very quickly. RJ Barrett has 17 points, 15 rebounds, and an assist. Shout out to this young man. Shout out to RJ Barrett, this young man. I think sometimes he is afforded the opportunity to just stay the course, play his game, and keep his mind focused on basketball. And that's what comes when you have a polarizing star on your team. That's why I give credit to Patrick Ewing for. If you're relatively new as a Knicks fan, you need to understand what Patrick Ewing endured. I'm not going to go into that deep. We don't got time for that today. But Patrick Ewing, what he endured as a player here, to carry the weight in a Michael Jordan era, he was fighting every day against the notion that he wasn't Michael Jordan. Fighting every day against teams that had stars who had talented players around them. If you sit there in awe at LeBron James taking that team in Cleveland to the finals and point at that as him being a GOAT, why do you think Patrick Ewing is where he is today in terms of the Hall of Fame? Because that's exactly what he was doing. It wasn't until he was past his prime that he got players that if he had them during his prime, we would be counting 2 championships on his finger. On his finger. And he dealt with that scrutiny every game from the media. And if you talk to the media, who was the media during Patrick Ewing's time, they always talked about him being standoffish. He was professional. He never ran from the interview, but he never gave them more than he had to give them. And that's because he knew the spotlight of New York. All right, Carmelo Anthony. I know sometimes I give Carmelo Anthony some slack. I give him some beef about his time here. And we're going to get into that as well. But to his credit as a professional, no matter what Phil was putting him through, and Phil was on some shady stuff while he was here. Let's keep it real. And Carmelo was fighting against the LeBron James narrative, like Patrick was fighting against the Michael Jordan narrative. But Carmelo never ran from the microphones. Never one time. Always remained professional. No matter if his teammates were whack and sucking, he always stood there and he took the brunt of it. That's on me. I got to be better. That's me. I got to do this, that, and the third. Now, did he contribute to some of his problems? Yes, he did. We could point at several moments during the D'Antoni era where he got to take ownership. But you have to be that type of player to be able to absorb that, and that's what Randall is. We can talk about Randall's body language, but none of us are under the bright spotlights of those cameras. Got family members reading articles that you're not even thinking of. You're at practice. You got to come home to somebody talking about what they're saying on social media or what they're writing about you. And now we got a young family growing who's going to be attached to social media and who's going to hear about their father. So credit to Julius Randle for being the buffer for RJ so that RJ could have those stretches like he had at the beginning of the season where we're like, yo, bro, what are you doing in your summer where you keep having these slow starts? So RJ really got to give credit. Although he came in at the same time as Randle, he really got to give Randle a lot of credit for him being allowed to grow at the rate he's been allowed to grow. Now RJ's getting to the point where he's hitting his Super Saiyan level and he's consistent. And that also coincides with having a star point guard. So last night he put forth 17 points, 5 assists. 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist in his second game back from injury. Almost like he never left. And I love the fact that they got to worry about all of them. They got to worry about all 3. Put this team against the Atlanta Hawks in that playoff series 2 years ago, we passed them. They knew right away we got to cut the head off of the snake and the snake will die. And that's what they did. They told us what they were going to do. How disrespectful can you be as an opponent when they Larry Birded us? I'm going to go over here to this corner. I'm going to pull up on 3, and I'm going to bang this thing, and we're going to go home with this win. That's what they did to us in that Atlanta series. We had higher expectations, but Clint Capella told us we know how to defeat the New York Knicks. They went out there and they did it. With this team, currently constructed, no moves, you ain't doing that. Who you guarding? You take out Brunson, Julius is going to give you that work. You double up on Julius, Quentin Grimes is going to set ablaze. Try to go out and run out on Grimes. You're going to pass it to RJ. RJ going to cut. He's going to get the and ones. Who are you guarding? We got a young team elevating to the point where you don't know who to guard. That's a problem. That is a problem. They're going to get to the point where they're now the veterans. They know how to play this game, and the game slows down for them. We're dangerous. So I'm proud of RJ. RJ Barrett, you are the dollar slice of the game. These two I'm going to do together because I think it's appropriate. Who are the chopped cheese of the game? The chopped cheese, relatively new contributions either to this game or to the team, but that thing be busting. In the quarter water, you can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice or the bacon, egg, and cheese. You don't got something to wash that thing down with. And that's the quarter water here at Knicks Deli. So who's the chopped cheese and who's the quarter water? And that's landed for the center position. So shout out to iHeart, who is the chopped cheese. And I gave him the chopped cheese for a reason. Because he was chopped liver the last few games. Everybody was calling him Hackenstein. They was calling him, I know heart. Giving that man the business. But last night, he did his job. 8 points, 7 rebounds for Isaiah Hartenstein. Say what you will. As long as he is on this roster, we're going to need him. There's going to be those moments where that little floater in the lane is critical to keeping us in the game, where they think that they got all of the outside shooters locked up. He's one-on-one with a big, and he puts up that little push shot, money. And I can't say enough about players who bring energy. He is feet of stone. There'll be moments where you just say, yo, bro, are you planted? He do got concrete feet, yes. But I'm telling you, his energy, man, after the dunk, that dunk from the ball movement in the playoffs will lift the roof off of Madison Square Garden without question. So shout out to that man, 8.7 rebounds last night. And the quarter water goes to Mitchell motherflipping Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, who had 4 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. On our team, Mitchell Robinson has to be the most improved player. Has to be. It's between him, Quick, most improved player. It's great to see that he's doing it with a Knicks jersey on. All of these players that we see the improvement, got to be clear they're doing it with Knicks jerseys on. So I don't care how you feel about Tibbs. Players are developing underneath him. And if you're acting like you don't see it, you blind to your own success. You cutting your nose off to spite your own face. And it starts with us. We're already getting slings and arrows from outside. How we attacking ourselves. That don't make no sense to me. Bugging. So shout out to iHeart and Mitchell Robinson, the chopped cheese and the quarter water here at Knicks Deli. Now, y'all know when we get to the point, we want to get to the point where we hit the nah, son, nah. You wildin' moment of the game. And what that is, if you don't know, that's where you look at something surrounding the game, surrounding our team, or a moment within the game that makes you look at the camera sideways and be like, yo, nah, son, nah. You wildin'. And for me, that moment was Kristaps mother-flipping Porzingis. Okay? Kristaps mother-flipping Porzingis. I just want to talk to about it for a moment. I made a short yesterday. I made a lot of shorts yesterday. I know y'all tired of getting seeing my face on those shorts, but I don't care. Okay, because I got a lot to say. But I made a short yesterday with Kristaps, right? And it was talking about an unpopular take. And I said, Carmelo Anthony is the reason that Kristaps Porzingis asked for a trade from the New York Knicks. And I went on to give my theory. This is not documented. You know, I'm not out here to try to slander the streets and Carmelo's name in these streets, but this is what it was. I was following everything closely. And if you were following the team at that time, you felt this. Phil Jackson was putting Carmelo Anthony through hell. He tried to encourage him to sign with Chicago, in which Carmelo should have signed with Chicago. He would have a ring at this time, but that's neither here nor there. He was trying to get Melo to take the bag from Chicago. Melo was just like, what? No, New York could give me more money. So the reason Melo stayed in New York was for the money. It's for the bag. Let's not get it twisted. We can argue that later. That's what it was. But since he came back, Phil wanted to actually build around Porzingis. So when he came back and he stayed and he took the money from New York and got that no trade clause, Phil had a certain way of being indirect and subbing through the media and having his friend who's the author, all these things. So everybody else on the team were relatively young. And Porzingis was that young star who was under the wing of Carmelo. Now, when we drafted Porzingis, Carmelo was on record like, what are we doing as a team? We didn't need a power forward. We need a point guard. And everybody had this, rumors were abound that Melo didn't like that pick of Porzingis being on the squad. So Melo had to go in and do media repair. And he was just like, oh, no, I'm here for the young fella. I'm going to put him under my wing and I'm going to teach him the ropes. Well, what comes with that is saying, you know what? The New York Knicks are going to try to trade me. Watch. But you're a star in this league. So if they trade me, you're going to have the reins. And you need to let them know what you need before they get comfortable enough and start doing you like they did to me. I can almost feel my spidey senses tingling that's exactly how the conversation went. Because the moment he was gone, Porzingis started acting different. And that was his brothers. His brothers was listening to Carmelo saying, like, yeah, we need to determine how we move and what we want and how we want it built. So when the New York Knicks told Porzingis, once Melo was gone, all right, check it. Melo's gone. You're absolutely an important part of this future. But we want to hold off on giving you the extension. We're going to support you with your injury. But we want to keep our books open because KD sounds like he's going to be leaving Golden State. And we want to make sure we're in this to pair you so that we're in the best position to battle for a championship. And it was reported that KP was just like, you're not focusing on me. You don't want me. I want to be the one to lead the team now. This is my team. Melo's going. I want to step into my superstardom. You trying to bring a person that's going to come in and young bro me again. That was exactly his attitude. That if we go out and we focus on bringing KD in here, it's going to keep him second fiddle. He's going to always be young bro. And he wanted the spotlight in the largest market. So that's when he started acting up. And ultimately, that's what I was saying. I said, it's nowhere out there. But Melo was the source that planted the seed in KP and started having KP feeling himself. And he didn't expect us to trade his ass as fast as we did. New York was just like, yo, we ain't. What you think you're doing? I thank you for helping make our decision easier. Easier public relation-wise and easier in terms of our needing to redirect for the future. And they shipped them out. And New York caught backlash for it. But in the quote that KP said yesterday before the game, and I'm going to pull it up. Hold on for a moment, y'all. I'm about to struggle stream for a little bit. Bear with me. I'm going to get us right. And we're going to wrap this up because I know I'm cutting into the games. I keep saying that like it's for y'all. You know, 49ers are my squad. So legitimately it's for me. But hold on. Let me pull up this article because it's important. It's also important so that y'all know I ain't talking out of my behind. I be seeing these things and people be thinking I'm crazy. All right. I think y'all are able to see. Yeah, let me pull this up. Yeah, we here. And we got next. Let me close this stuff out. Yeah. So let me pull this quote up right now. As y'all can see, he says, could I go back and do things differently? For sure. From our side, I was hurt. If I kept playing, it would have been completely different. I'm young and listening to people and what they're telling me on what I should do with my career. He wouldn't typically refer to his family as just people. He got to be talking to somebody else. I'm young and listening to people and what they're telling me on what I should do with my career. You don't know any better. That's how things went at that time. And he goes on to say, hold on, I can only say really good things about the organization because I enjoyed it so much playing there in New York and playing in front of those fans. Now, that's the piece. This is before the game. That's the piece where he's trying to get back in the good graces because he hears and he knows that trade deadline is coming up. There may be a possibility for him to get back to New York. So PR is telling him, do the right thing, say the right thing. I can only say really good things about the organization because I enjoyed it so much playing in there in New York and playing in front of those fans. It was a dream come true. In the moment, I didn't realize it's not like that everywhere. New York is a special place. Madison Square Garden is the most special place that I've ever played in. But at that moment, I thought it was like that on every team. I had the most fun playing in the Garden. See what I mean? See what I mean? You don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore. So the nah son nah moment of the day goes to Kristaps Porzingis. You had a good setup here. And the reason why we booed you so effusively, the reason why we continue to give you work until this day is because we wanted you to be successful here. You were ours, bro. You were the unicorn. That name was introduced, given to you ironically by KD. Bro, you had an opportunity. We don't know. I tell you this much. The likelihood KD would have come to New York had you still been there was a little bit higher. It probably wouldn't have still gone down because KD was friends with Melo. And if Melo was getting in the ear of Porzingis, then he damn sure getting in the ear of KD. And we know KD is flaky. But if you held out any type of hope, that man gave you the nickname of the unicorn. He gave you the nickname of the unicorn. And he's a basketball lifer. So you can see to have 2 7-footers with that skill set play on that team was something he would have had to consider. And he was able to convince Kyrie to go with him to Brooklyn. What makes you think he wouldn't have convinced Kyrie to go to New York? And it'd be Kyrie, KD, and Kristaps. Who's guarding that? So you effed up. No, you effed up. Nah, son, nah. You wildin'. We'll think about it. If it works for us financially, if we consider bringing you back. So that's the nah, son, nah moment of the day. And I'm gonna go. Let me go to the chat real quick and hit these comments. I'm gonna rattle through these real quick because I want to get to hot off the grill. You read it at Knicks Deli to see what we're saying on Reddit real quick before I tie this thing up. Thank you guys for being here. 12 people viewing. Run up the thumbs up. Run up the thumbs up for your boy. Run up the thumbs up. Okay. So let's see. We got NASA Nah moment of the day. We already did that. Will Flower says KB wants to come back. Nah, son, nah. You wildin'. Ray Gomez says most improved player is quickly more mature. Game slow down. It's a point guard now and developing. No lies detected. Agent Super Argo says McBride has to be careful. He may end up back in Westchester if he doesn't start showing something more than what he has to offer. Absolutely. But I appreciate his growth and his ability at least to start getting some shine so far this season. Also, Agent Super Argo says, did anyone see Donovan Mitchell's tweet giving respect to Brunson after the Pacers win? No, I didn't see that. I'll look for it. No, I didn't see that. Jalen Brunson is going crazy. Spider will be a free agent in 2025. He still wants the Knicks. Great points. I mentioned the other night on one of my lives that you noticed that NBA players today is this part of this generation, and they feed into the media. So when you see players having great games, everybody's hitting Twitter like, yo, shout out to such and such is blacking out. But they never do that with New York Knicks. You know, you had RJ who had a 40-plus game. You had Brunson or Randall. When they're blacking out, you don't see no fellow peers shouting out the Knicks. So, you know, I got my eyes on New York. It's going crazy down there right now. So for you to say Spider did it, I stand accused. I absolutely want to see where that's taking place. I saw John Morant gave Jericho Sims a shout out for the dunk contest this year. That's also a start. When you start winning consistently, you make your peers respect you. They got to respect you because they're the ones battling you. So it was great to see that we're getting a little bit more here and there. They're giving us some tips of the cap about what they see taking place in Madison Square Garden. And that's also going to impact free agency. That's what it's all about. It's steps. It's steps. We can't skip steps. Ray Gomez says, love the Nas Son moments. Man, we got to. We got to keep them honest with those Nas Son, Nah Uwala moments of the day. Ray Gomez also says McBride is a shooting guard that plays point guard. So is Quickly. So let's see where this thing ends up. If he's still with us a little bit longer, let's see how he develops. I just said Quickly was the same way. All right. So we're going to hit this last part of Knicks Deli. I'm going to thank y'all for rocking with me. And we call it Hot Off the Grill. Where we at? Yeah, it's at the bottom. So it's going to be Hot Off the Grill. Let me remove the last comment. Bong. The Nah Son, Nah You Wildin'. I'm struggle streaming for a moment. Bear with me, though. Okay, so we're going to take that down, and we're going to go to Hot Off the Grill. And I read it at Knicks Deli. So we're going to take a moment real quick, right? And we're going to go to Reddit. We're going to look at the Knicks Reddit and see what our fellow Knicks fans are talking. I love Knicks Reddit. There's some crazy mofos on there. Just like me. I think that's why I'm a fan. So we're going to take a look and see what they're saying real quick before we log out of this thing. So I thank y'all for bearing with me. Let's pull this thing up. Let's see. And let's go to Knicks Reddit. Bong. All right. So they have Jalen Brunson scored 30 plus 3 times in his first 4 regular seasons. He has 34 plus in 4 of his last 5 games, 38 points, 26 points, 44 points, 34 points, 34 points. Come on now. He can't be ignored. He can't be ignored anymore. There's another one with some great graphic work with IQ. I believe that's the Kendrick Lamar album. Damn. Kung Fu Quickly. You know, some of his hits are humble, floetic justice, money threes, bench won't kill my bench won't kill my vibe. Let me find out. High IQ edition. My right float just went viral. Yo, that's classic. That's good work. This user says Brunson is better than Fox, Garland, LaMelo, Harry Lollipop Fraud. Harry Lollipop Fraud? I don't know what that means. And Murray. All right, so we got some arguments in here. I like this. They give you a little bit of a flashback of that play with Quickly. And he says he's a composed read attack. He was Quickly with a composed read attacking the rim. See if we can see what that is. Taking too long to load, so we're going to move on. And it says, stop and enjoy winning basketball. Let's see what this reader says. He says, I think we all need to stop and take a moment to relax and actually just enjoy watching the Knicks play winning basketball. Facts. Many people nitpick the wins, complain about blowout leads, try to calculate potential trades. Let me tell you something. Brunson and Randall are exactly what we all hoped Melo and Stat could be all those years. Wow. They are doing fantastic things and winning basketball games. They are willing us onto a course into the playoffs. As great as they have been, our other guys have also been huge contributors. Mitch is playing all NBA style defense and is the second best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Grimes is a real two-way player. Everything we hope Ntilikina could be. It should be getting more shot attempts. He is an excellent young talent. IQ has figured it out, broken out of his slump, and has been on a tear. His defense is stellar and is getting noticed on defensive stat sheets. RJ broke out of his early season slump and has been putting up very nice offensive numbers. The Knicks are on the rise. There has been steady progression since Leon and Tibbs arrived. When I talk of progression, I'm talking about talent, not necessarily winning percentage yet. Great things are coming. But for now, it's superb to simply watch winning basketball considering what we've had to watch over the last 2 decades. I did not write this article. That man is talking the talk right now. Shout out to him. All great points. We saw this before. It says, I don't lift any weights. I just sweat and pace back and forth while the Knicks try to close on a 20-point lead. I think that might be kind of old. Let's see what else is here. Wait, okay. Let me see. Because there were some other interesting ones. I'll do a few more before I kind of, let me see if we can go back. I'll do a few more before I get ready to close out, but just wanted to give you guys some insight into Reddit as well. Let me see. I don't know why this is a good one. We went from Elton Payton to Jalen Brunson. Yo, they got the mic. I used to pray for times like this. Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares. That was clever. Let me see. Oh, this is a great. I hope y'all can hear this. Let me know if y'all can hear this as well. This is that quote from Kuzma.
What do you think made the difference for them in the fourth quarter as they were able to, gain some momentum? In the fourth quarter as they were able to, gain some momentum in the quarter?
Jalen Brunson. I mean, he just took over the game. He's an all-star this year. He's been playing phenomenal basketball. He's been a guy that's really kind of probably in, he's the extension of Tibbs off the court a little bit. You could just tell from the team last year to this year, they have more poise and patience, and they look for him. And he delivered tonight. So,
come on now. When you got your ops, you got your peers pointing it out. Knicks Nation, stand up and pay attention. He said he's an extension of Tibbs on the floor. An extension of Tibbs on the floor. Look at the disrespect. Oh no, I gotta play that too.
He pulls it back out, guarded by Porzingis. Now Randall into the paint.
Oh, sit down, young man.
And the foul. Wow. Crowd erupting with that one.
Why you sitting there like that, bro?
Insult to injury. He's the culprit with the foul.
You put it in your mouth. Why you put it in your mouth like that?
We saw him try to do this against Milwaukee, but it came up short.
Woo!
This time,
3 times. Sit down, young fella. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then we have this last graphic that I'll show. It says Jalen Brunson is the only player with 200 plus points in 2023. 2023. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is, I read it at Knicks Deli. Hot off the grill. Hot off the grill. Okay? So that's fun to watch, man. It's just, we're back to watching good Knicks basketball. And it's great to know that there's potential to win a Friday night game, even though that Friday night Knicks song comes on. All right? So shout out to Rudolph, the guy, I forget his name. I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect him. And he did have to remind me on Twitter that he won a Grammy for that song. So I was just like, that's cool. but you keep making us lose these games. Okay, so they snip the song. They don't play the full song, and I think that's the difference. That's why we're winning. We're overcoming that Friday night Knicks song curse. But yo, shout out to this team, man. It was great. It was a great win. We have another one coming up tomorrow against Detroit. We don't look past any opponents. We've been those opponents that teams had to fight not to look past. We're not at that point yet where we can overlook anybody. We haven't shown anything. We haven't proven anything yet. We just need to continue to stack these wins, like our point guard said. But we're not only here, we got next, and the league is starting to notice us. So I'm going to end with one more comment. I want to thank you guys once again for rocking with me. This was fun. You got a chance to look at it. Soup Agent Super Argo says Knicks need a Kuzma or Beasley to go further in the playoffs. I trust the front office. If they're going to make that happen, they're going to make it happen. What I will say last night is anytime somebody plays against us, they play in the Garden, they are applying for a job. They know that they see what the New York Knicks are doing. They see what they're doing. So when they play against us, I don't look at it no more as they're trying to make a statement on us. I think they're trying to show us what they can be if they were on our squad. That's how I look at it now. There's an article out there that the New York Knicks got scouts in different arenas. There were scouts out in Chicago. So we'll see. We'll see if we make some moves or if we don't. We'll see. But I'm trusting this front office, man. You know, listen, it's no easy win in terms of forcing the Knicks into a move that's not necessarily best for the organization long term. No more easy wins. No matter how we see it, how much we wanted Donovan, somebody pointed out a little bit earlier, he's going to be a free agent in 2025. And when he signed with Cleveland, it's on record. All of my receipts are on YouTube. I said, we'll see how much you want in New York. You talked about really wanting to play in New York. You thought it was a done deal. Well, you didn't get traded here, but you do become a free agent not far from now. And it's up to you. By then, you'll be in the middle of your prime. You'll be in the middle of your prime. You should be at your peak if you remain healthy. How much do you want New York? You get a chance to come to a team and we don't have to give up anything. Let's see what that talk is about. If you really want to come home, if you really want to play in the Garden, we'll see. All right. So it's been fun, folks. I know it's football Saturday. Let's get it. I appreciate it, Agent Super Argo, about the comment. Keep in mind, same thing applies to life as applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. But better off, keep this in mind and remind anybody who doubts it. We are here. And we got next, goddammit. Sheer brilliance, Knicks. I'm out. Peace.
Victory. I just got another victory. Opposition said they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept